Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. Today we have an unboxing video of some new stuff from the consistently awesome Oxford Supply. They've just come out with some grain fillers, some oil-based stuff that works really well with their lacquers apparently, and I think a couple more colors as well. I'm not entirely sure what's in here, but hey, let's find out. So you guys have all seen me use Oxford Supply stuff before. I did it on my ES335 guitar that we recently built. Did a couple demos of it before that. They make awesome stuff. And I would say in terms of vintage lacquers, they're definitely my favorite company out there. Now there are a bunch of different types of finishes that I obviously use for various things, but for vintage nitrocellulose lacquer, these are my go-to guys. Don over there does a great job. He can do custom mixes and stuff. And now they ship to the States. So if you've been watching my stuff from before and you thought they only shipped to Canada, problem solved. Let's see what we've got in here. All right, lots of packing material as usual. Unfortunately, that's necessary to keep everything safe. Oh, a box within a box. Unmarked. Okay, let's hang on to that for a second, figure out what's going on there. I'm thinking that might be a new color, but who am I kidding? I don't actually know. Let's see. One nice thing about Oxford Supply, and you're going to see this as I get into these, a lot of these companies that sell lacquers and stuff, you have to buy like a quart at a time or a gallon or something crazy like that. Oxford not only has spray cans for all of their lacquers, but they make a lot of stuff in these little more reasonable sized cans. So you don't have to buy a ton of it. If you're just doing one project, something like this is going to be way more than enough to do a guitar. This is the Heritage Cherry Red. You guys have seen me use this one before. I asked for more of it because I love the color so much. I had it in a spray can, so now I've also got it in one of these. All right, mahogany. So if you watched my burst video where I did the burst on the ES335, they've come out with a new, darker, richer mahogany. So now there are two different versions of that, the one that I used and this darker, richer one that I'm going to be testing out soon. Here we go. Oil-based grain filler, red mahogany. It is what it says. So this we're actually going to test out today. This is a paste wood filler. I've got an old tutorial on paste wood filling. I've got a tutorial on wood filling mahogany. This we're going to work with today on a piece of mahogany. So that's going to be good. See what other options we have. I think we got a couple colors coming. Here we go. Oil-based grain filler, dark walnut. Awesome. That'll be a darker brown color instead of the red. Heritage Cherry Red Nitro Lacquer again. Perfect. I did want more of that, so it's good to have. And let's find out what's in this other little box. I don't know what this is. I don't remember if I asked for it. Maybe this one's going to be plain wood filler that I can use to mix stuff into if I want to make a different color. Oh, different kind of container. Clear gloss nitro. Oh, okay, so last time I had a little issue with my clear gloss can getting damaged in transport. This is a really cool idea. You don't have to worry about that, hey? So now no concerns about that getting smacked in the corner and causing a little leak like I had last time. That's awesome. Great job, Oxford. All right, so we got some really nice colors there that I'm very excited about. We've got a clear gloss that I'm going to try mixing some tints into to make my own colors, and I'm going to try mixing some sparkle and stuff like that into, so stay tuned for all of those videos because those are going to be awesome. But for today, the last thing we're going to do is test out one of these oil-based grain fillers. And I'm going to go with the red mahogany today, and I'm going to just use this piece of mahogany on this body. And we're going to test it out and see what we can do in terms of filling some of this grain. Mahogany's got a really open grain, so it's a good wood to test it on. Not as good as like oak and ash, but still pretty good. This came with a little bit of sealer on it, so actually what I'm going to do is just give it a gentle brushing to make sure that I open up a little bit of that grain. Yeah, this is definitely how you should do this. Put it on a bench. Anyway, you can do a little bit of that, and then we'll do a quick grain fill on it, see how it looks. So for the sake of today's video, we're going to keep it very simple, and we're just going to use a little bit of this on this guitar body and probably just on a portion of it. See how it comes out. So we've got a nice deep red color. These need to be mixed really well before they're used. And if you let them sit too long, they will need to be mixed really well again, but that's no problem. It's pretty straightforward to do that. And we get this nice thick paste. Now this isn't as thick as the water-based stuff typically is. The oil-based grain fillers are usually a lot easier to spread, which is nice. A couple different ways to do this. You can scrape them on the way that I do with my water-based ones, or you can rub them on with your hand or even with a cloth. I'll show you how I'm going to do mine today. What I'm going to use for today's purposes is just a rubber glove, because it's a cheap thing for me to have available, and it does a good job of this. It doesn't make a mess of my hands. It doesn't stick too much. So I use my rubber glove. I'm going to scoop a little bit of this on here, just using my popsicle stick. There we go. And we'll see how the grain-filled section looks versus the rest. So now I can close up my tin because I know I'm only doing a part of this. I don't really need this anymore either. I'm just going to rub this around and push it in. And push down into the grain and spread it around. And sometimes you have to grain fill a couple times. I don't think oil-based grain filler shrinks as much as water-based, but I don't have a ton of experience with oil-based, honestly. But you can see this almost kind of acts as a stain at the same time. And when you sand back, you get rid of a lot of this red or this deep, deep brown, depending on how you look at it. And you'll end up with this color kind of pushed into the grain, so it does a nice little accenting job. So now there are a couple options. You can let this sit for a while and sand it off. You can take a cloth and buff it off. My favorite way is kind of a carryover from how I do my water-based ones, is to take something like a razor blade and go with or across, it depends, but I like to go across first usually, across the grain and scrape off the excess. And then I can actually use this in another portion if I want, another area. If I was doing that, I'd put it on something other than a paper towel, but still doable. See, not the big deal. Anyway, scrape across and remove the excess. And then I can sand after. So I'm kind of accomplishing two things at once. I'm basically staining the wood like an oil-based stain would, and I'm grain filling. So I end up with a nice smooth surface, and I can apply what I need to over top after if I want it to be nice and glossy. You can let this dry longer before you do it, and that will help you avoid some shrinking. But it's not necessary, just sometimes we need to do this a couple times to get the desired effect. So look at how that turns out. Now, after I've done it across, I often like to go with the grain, just gently, to kind of do a final cleanup. And then, once it dries, it's ready for sanding. Again, some people buff this off with a cloth instead, kind of do one of these. This is a paper towel, obviously not a cloth, so it's not really the same thing, but there's nothing wrong with using that option to take off your excess, and you can use that in combination with the method we just did. So there you go, guys. If you were looking for a way to like grain fill, nice and smooth surface, sandable, ready to go for a finish, and make your wood look awesome at the same time, because let's be honest, that looks way better. There's your option. Oxford makes these really nice oil-based grain fillers. They've got dark walnut that'll be a little bit darker brown, and these red mahoganies, and I think a few other colors as well. So if you haven't already, check out Oxford Supply down in the description, or you can buy their stuff through Solo Music Gear. I'm not sure what selection they have there, but I know they do have it. And that's it. One thing, most of you guys probably already know this, if you're buying through Solo Music Gear, the link down in the description is an affiliate link. I would appreciate you using it. It helps me out if you want to. And then if you're going to buy something through Oxford Supply, they've got a How Did You Find Out About Us piece. And if you put my name in there, that really helps me out too. Helps me get stuff like this from them so I can keep doing these videos. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. And remember to subscribe so you can see me test this stuff for real on an actual project instead of just a blank body. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.